What's going on, guys? Welcome to our Let's Play series here on the Amplify Console Edition. Now, as you can see with the map in my left hand, we are on Title Update 53 now. We're starting off over in the Nether today, just to give you a brief description of what my plans are over here. Let me just get a sword on my hotbar quickly. There we go. Now, as you can see, I've got a load of shulker boxes. I've been resetting my end quite a lot because the only end city I have is on the first portal. So to be able to get the shulker chest, I have to reset it, but it does save me having to use the ghast tears and respawn in the dragon because the other three portals have absolutely nothing in. So I want to make sure that I've got enough shulker chests and enough elytra before building any big projects in the end, because otherwise I will have to continuously reset it. Now, in the Nether, where we are now, I have gone to the very edge of the Nether, and because we can no longer build on top of the Nether, I've decided to take on a stupidly large project, and I've dug out I am currently digging out a 128 by 128 area. So then when I can AFK after I've built a farm here, if I AFK in the very far corner, then nothing else, well, everything around the farm would have despawned. But this is going to be, I've averaged it that each layer is about 16,500 blocks. And I'm just going to be digging it out chunk by chunk. And each chunk takes around about an hour and a half to 2 hours. The initial first two layers took me about 6.5 hours to dig out the 128 at the top. And yeah, it took an extremely long for about 12 pickaxes, having to keep on mending them. I think that's probably the longest point, but it's a lot easier to dig in the Nether because the Nether rack's pretty much instant mine blocks. But yeah, this is going to be an ongoing thing that I do in between my episodes. Obviously, not much of this is going to be done on camera because no one really wants to watch me digging out, but when it comes to actually building the farm, then I will bring you back. But while doing this, it's gathering a lot of netherrack, which I'm smelting using lava. As you can see, I've got a load of fire resistance potions, and it's nether brick, netherrack, 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 and I've got ridiculous amounts of chests of netherrack already. Sorry. As you can see, I've been collecting up the shulker boxes because they are coming extremely in handy. I've already got a shulker box full of nether brick from smelting. I've got my redstone shulker box. Now, if you're wondering how I died out on the console, then what you have to do is actually go into the user interface settings and put on classic crafting, because it's not on our crafting lists at the moment, which I think was a bit of an oversight on this part. But you can still die there, you just have to switch to classic crafting. Usually I tend to end up just leaving it on classic crafting because I'm used to playing the modded on PC, so I'm pretty used to all the recipes. But just enough for the Nether and that. I've got my Elytron fireworks. Thank God that we built the sugarcane farm in the last episode because I'd need that paper to keep up with the amount of fireworks that I need. Let's hop through here. And yeah, all of these are all netherrack as well, but this is all going to come extremely in handy when it comes to building the what was it I was building? Completely drawing a blank. The sandstone fortress, yeah, over where our single farm is. Now I've seen a few different YouTube videos about the resetting iron golem farms that are meant to be adaptable for the console version, but I've tried building one of them on the console in creative, and for some reason the villager cap just keeps on sort of coming in to play with it, and you can't have as nearly as many villages as you can on the PC. Let me just go to sleep quickly. Now, have I still got my ender chest on me? No, I left it in Nether, didn't I? Let me hop down here. Yeah, each time I'm doing the end cities, I'm picking up the ender chests as well, so I always have a healthy supply of them. Let me get rid of this. I don't really need to hold that on me. And have I got everything I wanted? Yep, I also want some grass blocks, and thank God I've actually got 2 sitting in there. Yeah, what I want to do today is start on the slime farm. So let's just hop down here. And we need to fill up with a load of dirt. Where is my dirt? There we go. Just grab a load of this, and I'll just show you what I'm going to start doing, then we'll have a break while I do the majority of the laying out of it. Hop all the way down. Oh. Okay, so what we want is our... I left that side high, didn't I? Yeah. So this is going to be where our water stream started back here, and they're going to lead down to here, where we'll have our killing chamber. Now I've marked out, well, I've left the markers. Let me get rid of the map because that's going to be annoying for you. It's extremely handy. It's like pressing the F3 on the PC, so then you constantly see your coordinates. But let me just get this lined up. Okay, so this is going to be one corner of the slime farm. And then, yeah, I left 4 small floating pillars in the sky of the half slabs, just to mark out exactly where each corner of the slime chunk was. Get over to here. It's hard to see against the grey backdrop though. Oh, there we go. Line it up. And then we want there it is. I think that is about it. Okay. All 4 of these should line up, which they do. Now we want water stream to be a little bit wider than the actual double slime chunk is. So we want, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, say on the 5th one from the side of it. And then we want a couple of blocks to do the killing floor. So if we start it about here. Okay, so we want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry about that, I've got a bit of a froggy throat this morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm doing it 7 long, so then it will just be one continuous stream that flows all the way down. Now, I know the higher I go up, the more spawning space I'm going to be taking up. I think a continuously running stream is going to look 10 times better than having it broken up by signs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it should go up to just about there, which means we should still have a fair bit of room. And then either side of this, obviously, we're going to be... Oh, sorry about that. That's my phone. It should be on silent. Now, once we've built the streams in, like the main running water system, and I'm definitely going to have to mute it now. There we go. Now, yeah, sorry, I've lost my place now. Yeah, so we should have more than enough room to build some of the floating islands dotted about. Now, with either side, that side and this side, I am going to have streams dropping in from like where that lantern is, where that lantern is. There's another one dotted about up there somewhere where I want a water stream flowing down from, which will then hit the ground and flow into the main river. and then I want to make all the sides with trees, greenery, make it look very natural down here. And hopefully it should come out looking alright. But what I'll do is that I'll fill out all of the dirt that needs to be done on the ground floor, and then I'll start getting the water ready and I'll bring you back for an update. So I will see you in a minute. And welcome back, guys. Now, as you can see, I got all the grass laid down. See if I could get flight here at any point. There we go. So yeah, it's as I thought, it did come up quite a bit higher than I initially estimated it to be. Now, what I've had to go and do is slime's already spawning in the water streamway. What I've gone and done is made a copy of my world as it is at the moment. So then I can open it in creative, because with how much height we have left from the spawning platforms, which is about this height where that pillar thing is there. Yeah, the islands themselves, if I were to build them, cannot be very big at all. And the floating islands in the size that I could make them, I've seen in my creative test world that they do not look very good at all. So what we'll do, we'll quickly hop over into my copy world, well, my new copy of this world, and you'll get to see what I mean. So be right back. And welcome to our test world. Now, as you can see, the water's already been placed in this. I just wanted to make sure that it run properly, and it does run all the way down. Now, as you can see with the edges, I've sort of come in and out a bit just to make it look a little bit more natural, and it does look 10 times better than if they was just straight down. Now, regarding the floating islands, I've built a couple of them, and I've done the decorations like with the vines going across the leaves to each platform as they would look, but as you could tell, I could fit probably a maximum about 3 or 4 without them looking too cramped, and the size of them are just so much smaller than what I initially wanted them to be. So yeah, I think I'm going to go for just the basic spawning platforms for this. I know they won't look as natural, but it will be a lot more efficient than these floating islands. And if the floating islands, how they look at the moment, don't look nearly as good as I imagine them to have been if there was a lot more room. And I think how far the ground had to come up to make the waterway run smoothly without having to use signs to split up the water source bits. Yeah, it's taken up a lot more room vertically, so the islands themselves can't come down too much. And if they did come down any further, then it would just start looking a little bit silly, because it would just look really, really pointed in the end, like that. But this was my initial plan, to have like the vines coming off and then leaf blocks spreading from one island to the next with vines coming off. But I think that I will do a floating island build in the future and use the same sort of decoration techniques, but much, much bigger floating islands. And I think that will come out looking pretty nice. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep that plan for another build. And in this area, I think in my actual world, I'm just gonna build the classic spawning platforms. So we will get a lot more slimes and a lot more drops, but it won't look as nice as that I thought it would look with the floating islands. But having the floating islands as small as that, it's just yeah, I don't think it looks too great. Let me know what you think in the comments down below as to what you think I should do. I'm going to go ahead and build the spawning platforms, but in Minecraft nothing's completely permanent. It wouldn't be too hard just to get rid of the platforms and actually do the floating islands. So we can always come back and replace it. And yeah, so hopefully the spawning platforms, I'll try and make them look nice, and I'll bring them in a little bit closer so then there's more than enough waterway for them to fall. The killing zone that I've decided to go for the slimes is to have an iron golem just in a trapdoor cage in the middle. So then as long as he's got view of the slimes when they spawn, that either end the slimes will automatically go straight towards him, and then yeah, it will just wreck their face. He gets a little bit bored quickly, but then he sort of gets his attention and then he starts hitting them again. And then obviously I'll have a layer of hoppers leading to a collection chest or a collection zone. Now also with this bit, where are we going? Yeah, with this sort of area here, this one up here I actually want to make the entranceway to our slime, so we'll have some wooden scaffolding coming down with a stairwell leading down, and then I want to build like a little wooden bridge going over to this side, and then to a collection spot over here. Now, don't worry about all the torches, they're all going to go after I like sort of naturalize all of these areas with grass, bone meal, trees, hidden lighting, and it will look a lot more alive. Now with this area up here, what I did want to do is, let me just grab a bucket of water. Yeah, so this sort of area, I wanted to bring it down so then there's like streams, and then I'll obviously it won't spread off all the way down like that. I'll have it so it's actually streaming. Oh, let me get back into flying mode. So then it will sort of lead along down to the actual stream itself, like the river. So then if we bring it sort of into here, I'm going to have to fill in the ground underneath because this is only one layer thick. So then this will come out sort of like so. So then we'll have, there we go. So then this would like lead into this river, and then that will be like another added feature. And yeah, so I think that would look pretty cool coming down there. And I think I'll have another one which is just up here, doing the same thing, dropping down, leading into the river. So then it adds a little bit more colour to the walls themselves. I'm not too sure if I should go ahead and put some vines dotted about on the walls as well, just to add a little bit more detail. Obviously I'll have to block it off with strings, stopping it from getting out of control. But with the vines, it's very easy for them to take over. But yeah, I think if you add a few vines here and there, growing down, it might add quite a bit more character, especially up near the top. If you just dotted them about like so, and then they'll grow. But as you can see, what I was going for with these, I actually really like the idea of having leaf blocks branch in between each floating island to the other with vines growing off. Now all of these are being capped off with string, which will stop them from growing any further. So you just do that, and then it will cut it down to that length only. But yeah, I'm really disappointed that I don't like the look of the floating islands, how small they have to be if I were to do them. Because I think if they were big enough and this area was a lot bigger, they would look really, really good. But yeah, like I said, let me know what you think in the comments. But for now, I think I'm just going to go for the spawning platforms. And I'm going to I'm going to go ahead and do that in my survival world. Like this is just a copy, which is how come I'm flying around. Let's sing creative just to test them out. So I didn't want to go ahead and build all the floating islands, be completely disappointed by it, and then have to tear it all down, then build the platforms. But yeah, it's a good way of testing stuff out. If you just make a copy of your saved world, open it up in creative, make sure that you rename it something like the normal title, then test, so you know which one's the creative copy and not. But yeah, I think the waterway and the sides are going to look a lot more alive once we've got some trees and stuff growing. And I think a little bridge put over here, and then a little stairwell leading up to there will add a lot more character, because I'm going to have to actually build a decent way in and out of this area, because at the moment it's just like usually just got a little ladder down here in my survival world, and then I have to come here, then back up to there, and then that just leads all the way up to my cottage. But yeah, for now I think that's going to be our plan of action. We're just going to go ahead and build the spawning platforms. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Yeah, as you can probably tell during this video so far, I've had a couple of the encoding issues coming up, where the screen would sort of go fuzzy and then it would jump forward about 20 seconds without the audio following it. So the audio would end up going out of sync. I've tried my best to patch it together so the audio is in sync with the video, Now, what I think I've rectified what the issue was with it, and it's where I've decided to try install a 4-port USB 3.0 PCI card, and I needed that installed mainly to run my external hard drives. Now, usually I unplug my external hard drives because they're 3 terabytes each, and I've got 3 of them. Now, unfortunately, for the last 2 sections of recording, they were all plugged in, and I think it was just a little bit too much stress on the PC to record also, so the encoding was getting a little bit messed up. So this is now the third time now recording, hopefully the end of this episode, so fingers crossed the recording comes out well if you see this. Yeah, so we'll carry on with what we were doing. I have finally finished the slime farm. I installed the minecart elevator. It's a simple one where you just look up and you spam left click to go all the way up. But we'll drop down there now. And there's a couple of things that I've had to change from what I said I was going to do, and I'll go through them with you. This is just a hallway I've created that leads up to the minecart elevator. Now, that's one of the things I changed that I didn't tell you about. Initially, I was going to send some wood scaffolding going up to where that jack-o'-lantern is just up there, which will then take us around, but it seems extensively unnecessary. It would have added like an extra 20 or 30 seconds on the journey, and the main reasons that I'm going to be coming here is just to be picking up the slime blocks. Now, I'm tempted to build off other farms off the side, so then there's more of a reason to come to this area. I'm very tempted to dig out that direction about halfway down to make a tree farm for this area, just so that we don't just see this area like once in a blue moon when we need to pick up slime balls, because I did put quite a lot of time into it. As you can see, I've got the platforms for the spawning pads instead of the floating islands, which I explained to you why in the last clip. Now, I can fit another platform up top and another 2 underneath, but I didn't want it to be chock-a-block with platforms, and 4 of them spawn more than enough slime balls than I'm probably ever going to need, so it's more than an efficient enough design. I done the waterfall on... Yeah, they can actually jump onto the grass, but if I AFK, it will be down there at the very back, so they'll just beeline to the blocks over there. Done the waterfall on that side dropping down, and it comes and cuts into the river. I think that looks really nice. I also done another one which comes down just over there. That also cuts into the river. I built a little wooden bridge, so then you can cross over the river. That is actually an also halfway decent spot. I've done the pathway like very natural broken down look, which I think's come out looking pretty nice. Now, if you wanted to, you can AFK just bang in the middle of this bridge, and they'll sort of all beeline to the end of the platform and jump towards you. Unlike this guy, who seems to be a little bit distracted. But also, another change was I've had to go with the magma blocks instead of the iron golems. Initially, I did have the iron golems there, and what was happening is that the slimes would sort of build up around it. The iron golems would target a slime that was out of their range, so then all the other slimes in front of the one that they was targeting, they weren't able to reach, so it would just ended up being just tons of slimes building up around it, and the iron golems doing absolutely nothing because they weren't within range of hitting them. And after about half an hour trying to mess about with them, I got to the point where I found, you know what, might as well just go with the magma blocks, and that works brilliantly with the hopper minecarts. So you've got the minecarts that come back and forth. It's just, oh, I hate the elytra sometimes. When you double jump, you sort of float into the ground. Yeah, but as you can see, this is literally just what's built up while I've been basically building and decorating the area. Now, obviously, there's quite a lot there because this is the third time I've had to film the end of this episode. Hopefully, the third and final time, so all the recording issues should be fixed. But like I said, we're not really going to have that much of a demand for slime blocks or sticky pistons. There's only 2 farms that I'm currently want to build that include quite a lot of slime blocks. Also, you can use them for making the flying machines to fill up the ocean monuments, which I want to do, but I want to do it in a different way rather than using the flying machines. Mainly because the console, with that many redstone interactions going off at the same time, it's very temperamental and it tends to mess up the flying machines, so I don't think I'll be going that route. Decoration wise, this area, I've obviously done the whole natural and bone milled all the sides. A couple of these trees are definitely going to change. I'm going to build some man-made trees. Hopefully get better at building them, because I'm not too great at doing the whole organic look at the moment. I'm okay at doing it, but yeah, I definitely room for improvement. There's jack-o'-lanterns going up the sides to try and light up the water. I'm going to put some lighting in underneath the water. The jack-o'-lanterns I'm probably going to cover with vines or push them back and put leaf blocks in front of them, because I really don't like looking at them. But other than that, I think that is everything that I've done since the last update. See, they can jump and they do get around, but as you saw, there's more than enough slime balls than I'll probably ever need. And when I AFK, I will be going, first of all, crouch so you don't burn, and then in the pelt in there. And then you just sit here, and as soon as they take notice of you, they sort of make a beeline for you. And then they die very, very quickly, as you can see. Yeah, so as far as slime farms goes, definitely the best looking one that I've ever made myself. Usually it's just a massive hole with just the spawning platforms, water streams and magma blocks, but I'm quite happy I made this one look decent. And for our first big project, I think it's come out pretty well actually. And I'm definitely leaning towards putting some farms off the side so then we can utilise and be in this area more, because I do really like the look of it. And I'd hate to have to just come here once in a blue moon just to pick up slime balls. But I think that is going to do it for today, as I've spent more than enough time recording this end section. And I hope you've enjoyed it, not including the little glitches which you'll obviously see in the beginning and middle of this episode. But hopefully that should all be fixed and sorted by now. And if you did enjoy it, and it's your first time to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to see more of my content. And hopefully see you soon. Bye bye.